Imagine accessing a library that contains the story of every soul, every action, thought, and possibility which exists outside of space and time, a hidden genesis of knowledge about the foundation of your very being, which helps you understand yourself in ways you never imagined. Imagine being able to see the unseen, the forces which affect your life on Earth as you know it, directly from the metaphysical realm itself. What would you do with this knowledge? How would your life change by accessing it? If you're curious about how the Akashic Records might shape our journey of self-discovery, stay with us. Like and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of life, science, and the spirit. Metaphysicians call it the Akashic Records, but sometimes refer to it as the Book of Life because of all it is said to contain inside of its source. In this video, we will teach you everything you need to know about the Akashic Records, including several documented cases of historical access to them. If there were even a chance you could access the very knowledge of your own soul, would you take it? You are in the right place. By the end of this video, you will have a deep understanding of the records, their purpose, and your path to accessing them in your own individual journey. So what are the Akashic Records really? Why do so many healers, light workers, and metaphysicians turn to the Akashic Records for guidance? To understand this, we must first understand exactly what the records are and what their purpose is. The Akashic Records are often described as a compendium of all universal events, transcending both space and time. Thoughts, emotions, and experiences find their home in the Akashic Records, even the ones that only exist in mere possibility. The word Akashic is derived from the Sanskrit word Akasha, meaning ether or sky. Both of these concepts represent a realm that exists beyond the natural, physical world. The word Akashic implies something deeper than meets the eye. It implies something that is felt rather than seen, dreamt rather than studied, and intuited rather than taught. But what does this mean for spiritual beings like us, who are limited to exist primarily on the physical plane? We can look to our ancestors for guidance on these questions. In ancient spiritual and philosophical traditions like Buddhism and Hinduism, the Akashic Records are treated as the largest and most accurate database of soul information known to man. And they were often accessed by spiritual practitioners and their students as a means of self-discovery. The records are treated as a legitimate energetic database that holds the blueprint of every soul that lives, has lived, and will live on Earth. Does this mean that the Akashic Records are home to even your greatest unrealized possibilities? And that you can not only access information about your current self, but about your potential too. Hermetic philosophy, and even some Christians, seemed to think so. In several passages of the Christian New Testament, the Book of Life is mentioned. The Book of Life, another name for the Akashic Records, is said to be a record kept by God, which offers a list of all deeds and destinies of each individual soul. Throughout various religions, the core idea of the Akashic Records as a universal compendium of untapped knowledge is mentioned time and time again. Imagine walking into a library, but instead of seeing hundreds of dusty old books, you see thousands of uniquely colored books that call out to you. Each book contains the story of your past, present, and future self. They even contain the story of your own potential, your innermost possibility. As you walk through this library, you notice different colors standing out. Bright red, yellows, and neon blues, colors you've never seen before, giving you visions and glimpses into your soul's journey. This library is often how people describe the Akashic Records. The records are a powerful, mysterious force that tempts us to move closer towards it in search of knowledge about our spirit and our journey here on Earth. But where did the Akashic Records actually originate from? Who first became aware that they existed and transferred this information to us? And how did they do it? The idea of a universal compendium of soul journeys traces back to some of the oldest spiritual traditions known to man. In ancient India, for example, Vedic literature introduced the concept of Akasha as an ethereal substance, believed to hold all memory and knowledge. In Vedic literature, Akasha acts as an invisible string, weaving together elements of the past, present, and future, even in possibility. If Vedic literature is right about this, then how might our modern interpretations of Akasha benefit from the work done by the ancient Indians? To answer this, we must fast forward to the 19th century, where the idea of the Akashic Records was reintroduced by Helena Blavatsky. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, born in 1831 in what is now Ukraine, was both a mystic and philosopher. She is thought of highly as one of the most influential forces of the Western esoteric tradition to date. In 1875, she co-founded the Theosophical Society, whose goal was to provide valuable knowledge to spiritual truth seekers around the world. Blavatsky often spoke of universal, traditionally hidden sources of knowledge, like the Akashic Records, who were only accessible to those of a high spiritual caliber. Her teachings about the Akashic Records align with that of previous religious and philosophical doctrines, describing it as an eternal storage system full of thoughts, actions, and intentions. But are Blavatsky's teachings about the Akashic Records simply a metaphor for divine truth? Or is it a genuine repository of knowledge waiting to be discovered and explored by those who seek it? Edgar Cayce, often referred to as the sleeping prophet, may be one of the most powerful figures we can study to determine this. Cayce was nicknamed the sleeping prophet due to his tendency to provide past life readings to people while in a deep, trance-like state. More often than not, the details of these past life readings were shockingly accurate, often granting seekers insight about their soul's purpose and karmic patterns actively at play in their lives. Those who sought Cayce's talents had wondered how he had managed to give such accurate readings and where he was sourcing his information from. Did Cayce genuinely have access to the Akashic Records as a universal field of knowledge? Or did his abilities represent unrecognized power within human consciousness itself? Despite various debates surrounding him, Cayce serves as one of the most prominent examples of modern access to the Akashic Records. According to Cayce himself, this is where his immense spiritual knowledge of others is derived from. From ancient Vedic wisdom to Cayce's prophetic readings, the common theme is that the limits of human potential and the foundation of our very reality might be in question. Could the Akashic Records bridge spirituality and science and allow us to connect to untapped knowledge in ways we never imagined possible in the past? If this were the case, how would we go about accessing our own records? What sorts of things might we find there? In recent years, there's been a lot of controversy about who should access the Akashic Records, and more importantly, if anyone should ever do so at all. Proponents of traditional religions like Christian Orthodoxy argue that the type of knowledge contained in the Akashic Records should be off limits to humans. They suggest that the knowledge is sacred, and as such, it belongs with the divine. On the other hand, others have argued that accessing the Akashic Records would not only benefit us, but change our lives. Yet still, there is disagreement about who should access the records. Some say that only trained practitioners and intuitives should attempt to access the records, while others believe the records should be open to all who seek them. Despite the obvious controversies surrounding the Akashic Records, some have still worked towards making them more accessible to others. Spiritual practitioner Linda Howe is one of the major forces in this camp. In her book, How to Read the Akashic Records, she details a step-by-step process, which she calls the Pathway Prayer Process. Howe's process involves reciting specific and sacred prayers and aligning oneself with right intention and frequency, which acts as a key to connect with the energies of the Akashic Records. Howe argues that once we reach the realm of the Akashic Records, we are able to ask any question about our soul's journey or purpose. Once in the realm of the Akashic Records, all unanswered questions come to light. Though we have covered a few of the key figures in the discussion of the Akashic Records, there's always more information to be found. If this video sparked your interest, consider seeking a guided meditation session to help bring you a step closer to accessing your own records. Or, if you are serious about accessing your records, consider researching spiritual practitioners who offer courses or books on how to access the records. What sorts of questions would you ask if you were to reach the realm of the Akashic Records? Do you believe that access to these realms should be strictly limited to the divine and spiritual practitioners? Or do you think the cosmic library of knowledge should be accessible to all who seek it? Most importantly, what might you find in your own records? Share your thoughts in the comments and use this area as a safe space to discuss anything your mind brought to you while watching this video. If you made it this far, chances are you enjoyed our dive into the mystery of the Akashic Records. Support our channel mission to bring knowledge to light by liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to us. By turning on our notification bell, you'll be notified the next time we upload another video about the mysteries of existence. Until next time.